Underappreciated wrestling fans, it's time to brawl. Locked in, loaded, we break through the walls. The voices that echo when the champion falls. From the passion in our veins to the fire in our eyes. We're united as one, no more living in disguise. No more living in disguise. We're united as one, no more living in disguise.
Wednesdays at 9:30 p.m. NXT time with D-Walk, and Saturdays at 9:30 p.m. the podcast for underappreciated wrestling fans. Well, hello there, my kiddies and kidettes. Welcome to pre-October. I know that was creepy, but I don't really give a shit. Welcome to the podcast for underappreciated wrestling fans. I'm honored to be with my co-host today, Mr. Joe BNCO. How are you today?
Doing good.
Mr. Dennis, a.k.a. Mr. D-Walk, is in the lavatories right now at the second, so he'll come in anytime he can. I want to thank, yeah, he's here. Hello, Mr. D-Walk.
He must be done mixing up his magic potions.
Hi, you. How are you, Mr. Dennis?
I'm good, brother. How you doing?
Doing good. Before we continue, make sure you tell us.
No. I was gonna say no. Just about to say what's going on. Partners in crime. What's happening?
Not much, man. Before we continue, make that like, subscribe, comment, hit all that jazz. If you're on any of the YouTubes, please subscribe and enjoy the madness that we do this every week on Saturdays. Before we get into the subjects, Mr. D-Walk, how was your week in wrestling? Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? What's up?
I enjoyed it. Besides some dumbass comments wrestlers been saying, but other than that, I enjoyed it.
Okay, we got a little comment here. Shout out to Comments Spirit. Hello, comment. Mr. Joe Biancio, did you like wrestling this week? Did you not like it? What's up?
I mean, wrestling was okay this week. There's a lot of stories that are getting ready to be told. I mean, you could foresee some of these stories happening. I'm excited to see where wrestling goes in the next, 3-4 months. I'm excited to see what's happening. We got a lot of moving parts in wrestling right now, which we're going to talk about. Mm-hmm. And I just don't want to see certain things happen to certain people.
Mm-hmm.
No diddy.
No diddy.
I will say, let's start off slow and then we'll work into things. We were having a discussion off brand, ladies and gentlemen.
That's what Dennis said.
Let's take it light. That's on Joe's behalf. I do not represent Joe in any of this.
Joe, you been drinking today?
Yeah. Let's talk.
Joe, you been drinking today?
Not yet.
Yes, I have. Let's talk about. I have it right here. The Miro request from AEW. Excuse me. Recently, Sean Ross app has just made out a tweet and has said that Miro has requested his release, and we don't know what's going to happen right now. Mr. Joe Biancio, what are your thoughts on this before you project the future of Miro?
It's not unexpected. It was foreseen that this was going to happen.
Yeah.
I expect other performers to ask for their release as well soon.
Okay. Mr. D-Walk, your thoughts before future projections?
I mean, like Joe, I agree with Joe. What Joe said is due time. I mean, a lot of broken promises.
Yeah. Now, I wish I had time or a high-tech computer to get a clip that I've got that Miro was making fun of WWE storylines while he was on his podcast in AEW at the same time right now. But we're not getting into that. We're getting to the fact that I think Miro's run in AEW before he got, shelved was one of the best in terms of just having fun. That me?
Who's that? That ain't me.
No, it's me.
Echo there. With the Redeemer, with the fact that we talked about his wife, he would kick your ass, for the fact that he really made it religious, but not really religious, and just kind of like went nuts. And then he got shelved. And one of my favorite moments of Miro in AEW is when he fought the Best Friends, and like all three of them had to fight all at him at once just to beat him. Kind of like Dragon Ball Super with Jiren, and I was really enjoying that. And Stu's mom came out too. That was pretty funny too. Other than that, Miro could do something in AEW really good. He can go after the international belts. He can go after the main belts. He could have been in a tag team. He could have been in a trios. He could have been managing a female superstar. He could have been managing his wife. A lot of coulda, shouldas. But it's been almost 2 years, which I haven't seen his ass. So whose fault is it? Is it the companies after 2 years, or is it just Miro for not really? And again, AEW is an open policy type of company where you just give out ideas, and eventually they throw it out there and everything. So, hold on. Your thoughts. I know, Joe, you'll go hard on this.
You won't?
Oh, you said me go first? Oh, yeah. I didn't even hear you. To me, it's kind of like it's kind of AEW fault, because they could have used Miro as Miro has so much potential.
Yep.
They could have put Miro in a spot where he could have been world champion eventually, but they just didn't use him. Man, it's a lot of wrestlers that is good they don't never use.
Joe?
I agree with what you're saying, D-Walk. And I also another thing is the fact that what happened with Miro is he got an injury. He got sidelined due to an injury. Came back, got sidelined again because of an injury. That's twice. And the third time, it's because they didn't have nothing for him to do creatively, which happens in wrestling. WWE does it. It happens in WWE all the time. They don't have nothing for you to do creatively. You sit on the sidelines until something creatively comes along. And he's in that sitting spot, and he doesn't like it. And I understand why. You want to be on TV. You want to be doing what you do, what you love. But at the same time, you could have sat around and waited for the right opportunity to come in. They could have put him with Claudio and Mox and Pac. He could have put him with them.
He could have put him with my man with what's my man who used a screwdriver? The one that's trying to convert Ospreay to the team.
Oh, Don Callis?
Yeah, Don Callis. You could have had him with Don Callis. It could have been Miro and Hobbs.
Yeah, but that has another thing to do because Hobbs hasn't really been on TV either.
Yeah, true.
And neither has Wardlow.
Yeah.
And this is another thing that's a problem with them. And someone was talking about it on another platform earlier. And I said, why not bring all three guys back together and have them call them the Midnight Meat Train?
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Those three big dudes like that as a group, wow.
Ain't nobody stopping them.
But I have a feeling Miro wants to go back to WWE, and that's why he asked for his release.
But why? Why do you want to go back to WWE?
Because Triple H is running it now and not Vince.
I know, but you were making fun of it a year ago while Vince was running it. Before you say that,
because Vince was running it, not Triple H, and now Triple H is running it.
Okay, let's play the booking game on this, and I'll go first. If Miro goes back into, I can't because I don't really watch the main product. Let's go with Joe. If Miro went back into the main product, can you give me at least a 6-month plan to see where he goes? Like, what does he do when he comes in? Which belt does he take, and who should he like face?
Okay, so you have him on the main roster. If he's going to be on the main roster, you'd have to have him go for Breaker or Gunther, because Gunther's another huge international star. You would want somebody that can compete with that. Miro can compete with guys like Breaker and Gunther.
Yeah,
he's a force. He's fast. He's big. He's strong. He's agile. He has a good technical wrestling prowess to him as well, and he's very, very good in the ring. And his promo is not bad. He does good promos.
That's true. The crazier the promo, the more. Again, when he became like the voice of God, I'm like, this motherfucker's nuts, and I love it.
Yeah,
that's really when he became
all into it.
That's when he was the Redeemer.
Yeah. Now, D-Walk, 6-month plan. Who's he going after? What's your projection?
like Joe said this a couple of days ago. I wouldn't automatically jump him to Braun Breaker or Gunther. To me, his first match would be Bronson Reed. That'd be a dope ass match.
Damn, Jesus Christ! You're gonna throw him to a fucking Goliath on the first day?
But Miro can handle it. Miro is a beast. After he beat Bronson, he could go to Braun Breaker or Gunther. Miro can handle it.
That's the thing, though. Miro's talented enough to where he can handle the limelight and the main spotlight of a world championship, and that's why. And it can be on the first day because he has the NXT experience, he has the main roster experience, he has AEW experience, he's got experience over in Japan. I think he's done some stuff in AAA as well. He has the experience and the talent to go as high as they'll allow him to go.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, he beat John Cena. He beat the shit out of John Cena.
He did. And he was on a tank and got buried. But anyway, my projection for him was like, it's gonna be a little weird for me, but I like to go a little weird.
Onyx, what's up?
Oh, sexy ass man. Give me a second. I'll put you on the college right now, sir. Hey, thank you, D-Walk. What's up, Alex? Blade was talking about Miro and his release, AEW, where he should go, and everything else.
Requested release. He has not been released yet. He's requested his release.
They'll give it to him. He's always been a good soldier, so they'll give it to him. Now, my projected.
Yeah. Andrade tried that shit too, and he tried to fight to get out of his contract, and that didn't work either.
Come on now, Andrade is Andrade had issues before he came in. Andrade had issues during. Andrade had issues after. Miro,
and now he's back in WWE in the main roster in the limelight again.
Back to Miro. I want him to go to NXT. I want him to be called Miro. I want him to be the Redeemer. And the storyline of that is that his God has told him that he needs to go back to his roots to understand himself. He lost his wife. He lost his faith. So now he has to go back to the beginning to understand that. And in NXT, he can destroy Trick. He can destroy every single motherfucker there. Oh, he can go after Lexus Clean. Like, he can go after Lexus King. Oh, you are vanity, like incarnate. I have to destroy you because my God says so. Like, just really go on a religious kick on NXT and have fun. Get the belt. Go to the main roster. Relinquish the belt because you don't need it anymore, and then go after the main guys. Because if he goes back, for me, my projection, if he goes back as Miro to the main roster, they won't really consider him Miro. They'll consider him Rusev. You got to show the hardcore fans in NXT, I'm not Rusev anymore. I was born Rusev here, but I am something totally different.
Yeah.
So when I go to the main roster, Miro NXT, Miro in WWE, and I think he should go to wherever Roman is. Wherever. Because he can say to Roman, I had a spiritual pilgrimage and I have been destined to go fight you. And he can beat Roman. Because again, him and Roman, other than Roman and Wyatt, they had a couple wars. And they can bring that back too as a nice little come around.
So here's the thing though.
Yes.
You know, I could see him going against Lexus King and using a line against Lexus King, saying, "You remind me of my former hot flexible wife. You're very feminine."
Ooh. And he can get Alexis can be all scared, like, yeah, you're right, yeah, because he doesn't want to like say, I'm not mad because Rusev would kill him.
He'd be like, "You're right, I'm pretty. You're right. Thank you. Appreciate that."
Exactly. Thank you. You come here, sit on my lap, like sit on my lap. The Redeemer says so. Like,
make them tag team.
Where every day he picks him up and put him on his shoulder like Elizabeth, and Alexis gets really uncomfortable. Like,
see, we're selling gimmicks. Look,
I know, but at the same time, that's what I mean. In NXT, he can have fun and really project himself and really go out there. In the main roster, I'm scared because there's too many big players right now. Like once you said Bronson Reed, Dennis, I got scared. A big ass guy just slamming into Miro. I want him to be safe.
Bronson is my God. Bronson's like, he's fast and he's agile and it's scary.
Exactly.
He gives me Vader and Bam Bam Bigelow vibes.
He does, like a very fatter version of Bam Bam Bigelow. If Bam Bam Bigelow, if Bigelow didn't have a heart attack and really took care of himself, and like, yes, that would be that. And I like Bronson Reed because I saw the clips that he destroyed the ring and he threw Javon Evans at I know you said that too on NXT, Joe.
That wasn't Javon Evans, but I just like saying it was because it looked just like him.
He kind of did like that. And yes, Unexplained Day was homoerotic because this is the podcast for unappreciated wrestling fans. We say whatever the hell we want. And it just lean into it. Lean into the freaking just the Redeemer. Like, I just don't want him to come back as Rusev. He doesn't need to come back as Rusev. He needs to come back with the music of the Redeemer. And before we get to the next issue, which will connect to this.
Hey,
final thoughts.
He can come back as Rusev, and they play his music. And then when he comes out, he cuts a promo and says, "Rusev Day is over. There's only room left for the Redeemer, Miro."
Yeah, he can come out as Rusev. Be dressed up as
Rusev. But he kills Rusev in the promo.
Yeah. Or no, he could just come out as Rusev and people are like, "Oh, it's Rusev, blah, 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 blah." And then he takes off the clothes of Rusev and shows the new clothes of the Redeemer. Like that is the old me, and I shall never be that. So I like that. Dennis, final thoughts.
Is dead.
I like that. Dennis, final thoughts. How long will he get a belt?
You said how long? What?
How long will he get a belt once he comes back?
A belt.
I hope soon. I mean, because Rusev got more challenges and more potential in WWE than he do at AEW. Tony Khan don't really know what he's doing.
Yep.
Tony Khan got gold in front of him and he don't even realize it, that he could use that to help out AEW more.
I have a feeling, like I was saying earlier, that with Rusev, I feel like there's going to be other people that follow suit. Wardlow will be another one, possibly Hobbs. And if they go to WWE, if you have all these big dudes go to WWE, oh my God.
But that's the problem, though, Joe. You have all these big dudes coming to WWE. You can't all give them a fucking belt, but you can just let them just like go to 6 months of storylines of fighting the same guys over and over and over again as WWE does on a regular. Hobbs, I want Hobbs to do what Tavion Heights did. Go to Noah, Hobbs. Go to Noah. Really be there for a second. Really fucking have fun. Like, yeah, Hobbs is not. So go to Noah or go to Mexico.
Go to Rev Pro even.
Yeah, true. Thank you, Dennis, for being on top of the things. And Wardlow is getting better, but he needs a manager. He needs a manager for the next like 4 years.
Can you
really set it up? And this will be something of a nice little pet project if Heyman really wants to do it. Heyman goes to Wardlow and says, "You remind me of somebody I know," which is Brock Lesnar, and then just jumps on Wardlow.
Can you imagine if Paul Heyman takes Braun Breaker and Wardlow under his wing? The domination he would have with those two. and
True.
the tutelage and the knowledge that he has, he can bestow upon them.
No, of course,
Mhm.
of course. But this is a question for you, Joe. By the way, for those who watch AEW consistently, I don't. How is Ricochet doing in AEW thus far, in you guys' opinion? Joe?
He's doing good. He was in the Casino Battle Royal at All Out, made his debut. He had a match against Kyle Fletcher on
Mhm.
Dynamite after that, and it was a good match. And he had a match against Sammy Guevara the week after that,
Mhm.
which was also a good match. And he is lining up to have a match against Will Ospreay at Grand Slam, I believe, for the
Yeah.
International Championship.
And he just had a match with that Bull dude too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Dempsey?
El Tarus.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. Thank you for that, Mr. Onyx Blade. I'm glad to hear it always stays that way for Ricochet because he's really talented. They're amping him up to Ospreay and all the other guys. We'll get there.
Grand Slam.
Exactly. They're just setting it up. They can't give it all at one blow. Now,
No.
my thoughts for Miro is that if he goes to the main roster, I say NXT, get the belt in a month. Do the Kevin Owens storyline. Main roster, give him about a month, 2 months maybe. If you want to build him strong, he needs to get the belt as fast as possible. Like as fast. And Miro can be a tweener and not be face or heel. Because again, his religious path can take him wherever he needs to go.
Mm-hmm.
Play that. Like that is writers of WWE, that is literally an open door to take him wherever he needs to go, face or heel. If the storyline projects it, you can go that way. So learn. But leading up to the next thing, and I want to put this out there real quick, make sure I don't mess this up. I'll make sure to subscribe and enjoy all that madness. What we're going to talk about next is something a little bit weird, and it's going to be a little jarring. What we're going to talk about right now next, I'm stalling right now, actually, by the way. Speaking of Miro, trademark taking from WWE. Now, it's been known a few days ago that Shotzi Blackheart's name is being trademarked by WWE. That was her name before she jumped into NXT, and that was her name before anything else. Now, Mr. Joe Biancio, is it fair that WWE are trademarking names? Mind you, John Cena doesn't own his own name, by the way.
No.
Put that out there. He said that in Club Shay Shay. He does not own his own name for shit. So he can only be called John Cena, but if they can do whatever the hell they want with the name, whatever they so choose. Mr. Joe?
Hang on, what was that again, Alex? I'm sorry.
That's okay. Is it
Trademarks?
fair? Yeah, is it fair for WWE to start trademarking the names so that even after you leave, it's not yours anymore?
No.
Again, John Cena's a good example. Like John Cena's name is not his. He can never own his name because they're WWE.
But it's his real name, so they really can't stop him from using it.
They can't stop him from using it, but what I meant was if they made a John Cena shirt with him as old as Captain America, like in 89
They have
years
to pay him
old,
for it.
they own his name. They don't co-parent his name.
But here's the thing though, Alex, and the thing is that WWE, John Cena already said that WWE gives him all the royalties and stuff that he deserves off anything that they sell. He already said that they treat him right. They take care of him no matter what. They have a very good correspondence with his name.
Yes. And I'm glad
Same
for
with
that.
Undertaker.
Yes, and all the big names. But what we're talking about is all these small name people, Shotzi Blackheart, Miro, and just people that came from Motor. There you go. You got a little comment here. It's not fair, but WWE is also a business, so it's to be expected. And that's the part that no one's saying out loud that I want to talk about in this episode of the podcast for Underappreciated Wrestling fans. Is that these like the high level names? They're like you said, Joe. They're protected. They're set. They're good for life.
Yes.
The low level names. Yeah,
It's
they're
it's
not.
stuff that you're worried about as the smaller person, and that I understand. The only good thing about that is a lot of these people that are coming in are smart, and they're not allowing WWE to take their name per se, like Ricochet.
Yeah.
Ricochet went in; he did not let WWE keep his name because it's his name,
Mm-hmm.
so he's able to use it other places. Same thing goes with other people, with other certain people, like Christian, another
Yeah.
name.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um,
But
Sting.
yes. But here's the problem. What happens now when people re-sign and that's now the norm, where you
They
have
won't.
to trademark your name?
They won't do it.
They're doing it now with the small ones. Thank you, Dennis. Like AJ Styles. AJ Styles, that's his name. That's his name, right?
Yeah.
But WWE, after a long period of time, can theoretically trademark his name, and he can leave. He can go to Japan, whatever, go back to TNA, whatever. But his name in WWE can be used for merch and everything else. He'll get a small stipend, but the majority goes to the company. That's the part that I'm getting pissed at, because all these people, AJ Styles got famous in the small industry, in the small businesses and all that stuff, and then became big.
I don't know
Once
how
he,
that would work because Maven, if you watch Maven's podcast, Maven still makes money on royalty checks,
mm-hmm.
and he even talks about his royalty checks that he's gotten before, and he makes $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 off these royalty checks.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, that's good for him because Maven right now is relative by TNA, Mexico, Old School, and now Standard. Like that's a name that you can know. Like hardcore fans, even the small majority, know who Maven is. With Shotzi Blackheart, for example, I feel bad for her because what happens in a what if scenario where she leaves, goes to Japan or Mexico and becomes fucking super famous, right? And then she's famous over there in Japan. But the point I'm saying is that she gets famous in Japan, but in WWE is like, oh cool, she's getting famous in Japan. Let's resell and redesign some shirts that we made of her, and then sell them out there, and give her a small amount because they thought about it, but keep the big amount while she's doing all the work. It's kind of scummy in a way. I think honestly, like if they leave, like don't sell any more shirts. I think they're gone. Like sell the shirts that you have that you made from them when they were there. They're not there anymore. So stop. I think in the future what they're gonna do, because again, WWE is really fucking smart. You notice that since Vince left, this wasn't like this when Vince was there. Now that Vince left, they are treating all the wrestlers like products, and realizing that once the product leaves, they will make more money even after they leave if they are a good product, obviously. So let's just trademark their name. So no matter what, we'll still make money for ourselves off the backs of what they're doing. You understand what I'm saying, Joe? And like that's the part, like John Cena. I saw the whole I saw the whole interview, and you can see like he's okay with it, but he's not okay with it. Like he wants to have his name. Every wrestler wants to own their own name and own their own brand. It's just natural to them. In anything like wrestling, computers, sneakers, like anything. You want to own your own name. If someone took my name, Alex Coquito, and then made a business out of it, but then I get a small amount, but it's not my name anymore, I would be okay with it, but I wouldn't be okay with it because it's not mine. It's somebody else's. Which, by the way, you can't trademark my name. My name is already trademarked.
But if you have a contract, Alex, what I'm trying to say is when you're contract negotiating, you would negotiate the contract where it would be where you would make it to where your name is an open product and you can use it wherever. Now, while you're with the WWE, if you only want you wanted to make it to where while you're with WWE, it's their product.
Yeah.
But after WWE, it's yours. It's back to being yours again. It's an open product.
Yes.
Come on, buddy.
That's why I wish that's what I wish would happen. And to counteract Onyx Blade, we'll get to your comment in a second. This is a big one. WWE did make Cena a star, but after WWE, John Cena continued his stardom by doing other things, comedies, Peacemaker, Fast and the Furious. His brand is going up because he's doing the work himself. So in a way, I understand having John Cena's name. However, someone who came into WWE already big shouldn't have their name solely owned by WWE. That's what I mean. Because if the contract said when Shotzi Blackheart renewed, hey, by the way, we're going to trademark your name and keep it, then I would say, okay, wait a minute. Wait. If you're going to do that, then I want at least a 50-50 partnership at the most. Like 50% you owned, 50% you can use, but 50% goes to me, even after I leave. Because if you have stock in me and you think I'm going to do something, then I deserve something after I leave, I think. Except for Mercedes Moné, but we'll get to that in a second, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, WWE on Drew McIntyre.
Yep. And Drew McIntyre became famous in the Indies before he came back.
He got famous in TNA.
Yeah.
He got famous in TNA, but he got famous in all the Indies.
Drew Galloway.
Drew Galloway.
He did the Cody route. Just like I said, Joe, anyone that does the fucking Cody route will get your stock up. So what if Shotzi Blackheart does that? She does the fucking Cody route, does the fucking rounds, goes to Japan, goes to Mexico, goes to Canada, does all that shit. But then she gets so famous, WWE's like, we're going to make shirts. We're going to make hats. We're going to make this. The Shotzi Blackheart. Like, what bothers me, when will it be the time where they trademark Big E's name? Imagine that. And Big E deserves his own name. Big E deserves, like, he doesn't deserve to be trademarked by anybody. Like, he became, yes, WWE made Big E. That's not contested. But what makes Big E now is not WWE. It's him. It's just who he is now. So I'm waiting for the day to say, oh, we trademarked the Big E. So I'm like, motherfuckers, don't do that. Like, what if he wants to go? What if he wants to be a commentator? What if he wants to wrestle in Japan? Like, you're making money off him.
But Big E is not going to wrestle again, I don't think. I have this odd feeling we may not see him wrestle again. And WWE will take care of him. If they trademark his name, they will take care of him and make sure he is never needing for anything.
Of course. But he just has to accept that he doesn't own his name. Like, he doesn't even own right now his full name. For God's sakes, they don't even call him Biggie Langston anymore. Why can't you just fucking call him Biggie Langston? Like, that was a cool fucking name. Why can't you let him get the 5 gimmick, which he has said that he wants to bring back? Like, he wants it, but WWE doesn't let him because that's their, like, he made the gimmick in NXT, so it's theirs. So, that's what sucks. Like, he can never use the 5 gimmick anywhere else. And Joe, if he went to Japan and fucking showed off power and showed off that he needed a 5 count to pin people, the never open weight title, come on now. Let's go. Shout out to D-Walk, who is D-Walk.
WWE fucked up on Bryan Danielson. Yeah. They let the yes trademark time lapse, and it was available, and his attorneys contacted him, and he went and bought it. It was only a couple $1,000s. So now Bryan Danielson owns the yes chant.
And why? Because the company was lazy thinking that no one was going to take it away. Oh, it's ours. Like, it was
his attorneys were on that shit. As soon as that shit time lapsed, he called Brian and had him buy it. That's why they're using the yes thing more often now.
Yep. And now they can't. I remember when they started doing it, AW is like, well, we can't say anything about that. We can't talk about that. I'm like, I understand why. You can't, like, legal wise, you can't, like,
now they can.
Now they can. And they did drop the ball with Bryan Danielson. What they need to do now is be lax on the trademarks and be more open about opening.
Are you ready for Grand Slam when we get Nigel McGuinness versus Bryan Danielson?
Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, that's like that's was going to be next week's topic as well. Like the hate between the hate that people are giving because Nigel is coming out of retirement to fight Bryan, who by far can be the most stiffest worker or the most safest worker. depending on how he is with you. No one has said anything bad and said, "Oh, Bryan Daniel gave me a concussion." No one has. So I want to see that match. I don't want to see Drew and Bad News Barrett. Bad News Barrett hasn't been relevant since 2015. And I'll say that Bad News Barrett has not been relevant since 2015. I'm
the Nexus.
at 35 minutes.
The Nexus.
No, not even at the Nexus. No, he was only relevant when he did the whole bad news part. That's it. When he would be on a podium, like, I got some bad news. That's it. That was the only thing that was cool for me. After that, he got irrelevant when they did the whole like league world nation shit. I was like, all right, you guys are just. I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Taking gang warfare to a new level.
Mm-hmm.
International.
And they're bringing it back too. And they're bringing back gang warfare. But Mr. D-Walk, we've talked like little like drunken Nancy's here. What are your thoughts?
No, you're fine. I'm enjoying admiring your conversation.
We're waiting on.
And you ain't drunk. That's why I want to ask you some questions. Come on now.
All right.
We're waiting on our next topic. I know what the next topic's going to be.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we'll see. What's your thoughts?
Are we saving that one?
Huh? Say that again.
To me, Daniel Bryanson.
Yeah.
This been by far the best we've seen of Daniel Bryanson. He wasn't this good and this entertaining in WWE. He had to come to the AEW and make a name for himself. To me, I like this Daniel Bryanson. I didn't like Daniel Bryan what his name was in WWE. But Daniel Bryanson, he doing some good in AEW. Only if they would have used him at WWE like this, he probably would have never left.
Yeah.
We're getting the American Dragon. We're getting the international Daniel Bryan.
Or at least give him like a temporary visa. Like, all right, you can go out and do stuff. Like, we don't want to lose you. Go to Japan.
Yeah.
Go to do something.
He asked, and they weren't going to use him that much, and they weren't going to let him go to Japan, so he left.
Yeah.
Thanks, Onyx.
Yeah, thank you, Onyx. Bryan Daniels over Daniel Bryan, and you're right. And guess what? Now he went to Japan. He won the belt. He you know what's funny? When he won the belt, he did the Mick Foley moment. If you remember that, Joe, when Mick Foley won the belt, his face was all fucked up, but he had the belt. He's like, "Oh, yeah, I love you, daughter." His kids were there, and everything else. I'm like, that's fucking badass, and I respect him for that. That's what wrestling's about. It's not about the money or the fame or just like,
He said that out of all of the moments in his career, that moment was the biggest and best moment in his entire career out of all the WrestleManias and everything else was Wembley Stadium winning the championship with his wife and daughter and son there.
Why? Because his daughter's going to be a fucking beast if she becomes a wrestler. And that's something I want to see in the next 12 years. Like, she just becomes like an NXT monster. Just destroys people. Which is something I want to see. But back to Shotzi. Shotzi getting a lawyer. Make sure that if you leave the company, get some stock. And all the new wrestlers out there right now, Trick Williams.
Invest in yourself.
Invest in yourself. All the NXT wrestlers right now, Roxanne, Trick, not Lexus King, you sold your own soul for that shit. But all the other ones, trademark, like, copyright your own fucking shit. And so when you leave, in case, you can do that, honestly. Or you can be like E3 and try to be relevant, saying, "Oh, I dated both the Bella sisters." Yes, that was on the chat, ladies and gentlemen, but that Joe gave us. I was not gonna talk about that. I gave it a mention. That's all it gets.
He said he dated both of them at the same time. He took them both out on a date at the same time.
Well, I dated my girlfriend's mom and my girlfriend between a 1 month time period, so we can talk about that too. Moving on. I'm drunk, ladies and gentlemen. Freaking grapefruit rum get you right in the ass. Mercedes Moné is the new Hogan? Question mark, exclamation points. Now, I bring this up because Mercedes Moné came out recently and said that it was really coincidental that she talked about Megan Thee Stallion, and then Megan Thee Stallion gets signed by WWE. Just like
she didn't get signed. They're using her song for the SmackDown entrance.
Exactly. But then apparently she was going to collaborate with Meg Thee Stallion, and they were going to collaborate and do a song together. But that's
She still can. She still can.
She says that she can't because of like this is what I mean. And then another tweet that she says is that AEW is getting better because she is there. When we went to the Kayfabe Cartel, we talked about that her special can't even be used properly ever since she's brought it out. What are your thoughts on me titling this Mr. D-Walk, Mercedes Moné's new Hogan? Because I feel like Mercedes is just making up lies.
Yeah.
To become relevant like Hogan was in all his damn fucking life. You get your shot, Joe. And then you get rebuttal.
The thing about it, Hulk Hogan, you can't take his legacy away from him. You can't. Everything he'd have done. Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks, what are you gonna call her? She ain't showed me shit in wrestling.
Yep.
She had 1-2 good matches. She ain't showed me shit else.
Hulk Hogan is a relevant name, known with wrestling fans or without. Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné, on the other hand, will be forgotten about inside 3 months after she leaves.
Mm-hmm.
There's a big difference.
Yeah, I know. But that's the point that we have to talk about is the fact that Mercedes Moné has not been relevant other than when she talks about when she leaves WWE or her
best.
Yeah.
Mercedes Moné's best matches were against Charlotte Flair, and Charlotte Flair carried that bag.
Mercedes Moné's best matches with Bayley, and that was back in 2014. There has not been a good match since. She's been in cage matches, Hell in a Cell matches. She's been in Elimination Chamber matches. She's been in hardcore matches. She's been in table last in chairs matches. She's been in Last Woman Standing matches. And in all those matches, it doesn't really compare to her scope, honestly. The only thing I can think of is Bayley's new butt. Honestly, that's just a big ass. I don't know how the hell she got that. Freaking ridiculous. That's
cornbread eating.
Exactly.
Spandex and camera angles.
I don't know about spandex and camera angles, man. Spandex can only do so much, man. Look at Lola Vice. That ain't camera angles. That's ass. Bayley, I think got a BBL. I think Bayley went to Mexico. That might be next week's topic. Bayley went to Mexico. But
somebody needs to take Mercedes Moné phone from her.
Yeah.
Put her in a gym and tell her to stop until I tell you to stop.
Yes. And I want to bring up a good fact that Onyx brought up. The only good matches that she's had are with the 4 horsewomen. Either with Bayley, either with Becky, or either with Charlotte. There hasn't been a good match with anybody else. I watched the match with Willow. Willow is super fucking green, so it didn't really make sense.
But Britt?
Huh?
But Britt?
No. Willow Nightingale.
Yeah, but she had a bad match with Britt.
Yeah, of course she had a bad match with Britt because Britt is fucking like she has her own style of wrestling, and it's just you have to know the person so much to look. Britt and Thunder Rosa had a good match because they legit did not like each other. So it was kind of like a good match that they just legit beat the shit out of each other.
Mercedes Moné can't even get her special right while fucking it up.
Yep. Pisses me off. You can't say you do so good things when you fuck up. And again, we go back to Hogan because Hogan was notoriously accurate in lying all the fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
All the time over everything. His finances, his helping a kid, his ideas with Macho Man, which, ladies and gentlemen, as much as Macho Man was coked out, I'd rather believe him in tapes than whatever Hogan was saying back in those times.
Yeah, but
Macho Man don't say no lies.
Elvis Presley wasn't a fan of his.
No. Joe, go.
Comparing Mercedes to Hogan is not fair to Hogan.
No, okay.
I feel like that's downplaying Hogan.
I know you love Hogan, Joe. I know that.
Hey, listen, he's a real American. I can't help that.
He's a real somebody. Damn it, Joe, I love you so much. If it wasn't for the fact I've known you for so many years, I would just take you off this channel right now. Like, all right, bye-bye. Bye-bye.
He's a
Oh
real
my
American, goddammit.
damn it! Why do you have to compare that piece of shit to the real American?
Hey,
Could have said
drink your
John
milk
Wayne.
and say your prayers too, huh?
I know, but you could have
That's
said
right.
John Wayne. You could have said Clint Eastwood. Hell, you could have said Brandon Lee. For God's sakes, Brandon Lee was all American. He was half Chinese. For God's sake, come on, man.
Hey, listen, he reps that American flag daily. It's his
Yes.
life.
And he repped not liking black people daily.
Hey, like
No,
I said,
not daily. It was only one time. It's because his daughter was trying to date some bum. We talked about this. She's trying to date some bum that was mooching off her and shit. You want your daughter dating a mooching bum?
Now, I like the comment that Onyx is right now. Thank you, Dennis, for that. I like Mercedes, but I hate that her wrestling skills doesn't match her ego. That's what I mean about Hogan. Her wrestling skills don't match Hogan's ego. And I say this because Hogan's wrestling skills are the most basic they've ever been. When he was on the main roster, I can talk about when he wasn't on, he was doing like high flying moves and all the other shit. But
You're talking about Japan.
Yes. But when he was on the main roster, he was just the 5 moves of doom. That's it.
That's because WWE, their logics on professional wrestling are less is more.
Yes, of course. And I get that.
That's
what
their
I mean
logic. They want you to keep a small basic move set and get through a match.
And I can't, and you cannot contest this, Joe. A basic Hogan match cannot compare to a intricate Macho Man match. Because it's been proven that Macho Man has plans like hundreds of moves ahead of time. He wanted everything to be perfection all the fucking time. But
and Macho Man was also blackballed by WWE because he was banging Stephanie McMahon when she was 16. What's your point?
The point that's a sexual activity that has nothing to do with wrestling activity. Again, next week, ladies and gentlemen,
Has to do with his career
but
and his credibility.
But before Stephanie McMahon was allegedly 16, Macho Man was an intricate worker in the ring. Yes or no?
He intricately worked her panties down.
Damn it, Joe. If I was a damn lawyer, stick to the question. Was Macho Man an intricate worker before Stephanie McMahon's alleged panties went down?
I mean, I think Dennis, he walks all out of his chair.
He's watching me as the lawyer look at you like, don't avoid the question, sir. You are under oath. I can just say
Macho Man was an intricate worker. I mean, he had a game plan. I mean, he did basically the same shit if you watch his matches, but he had a game plan. Hogan had a game plan too. It always led to a back rake, an eye rake, a boot, a body slam, a leg drop. He had the same thing. It's just his moves were a little different. Macho Man took it a little further because he went to the top rope with a double axe handle or an elbow drop.
Yeah.
But it was basically the same thing. Atomic drop, suplex, body slam, double axe handle, punch, and then eventually he'd go up and he would hit you with the elbow drop.
Yeah. At its
Basic wrestling. Basic wrestling at its finest.
Yeah.
But that's more moves than Hogan. Hogan is kick, big boot, leg drop, body slam if he needed to. 1, 2, 3. That's all the moves.
Don't bring up Japan now, because Japan he was doing dragon screw leg whips and fucking top rope moves and like he was doing crazy shit. That was only one time. We don't want to talk about that. He's big to be doing that.
So is Kane.
Still did it better than Kane.
True. But the point I want to say is that I compared her to Hogan because whatever Mercedes Moné's mouth is coming out of is just not compared. And Onyx said the good point I have right here. Let me see right here. Here you go. I like Mercedes, but I hate that her wrestling skills doesn't match her ego. Like, you're right. It just, is, and again, Onyx, you're right too. Facts, Hogan as a person, trash.
Trash.
The trash that dogs crap on, and
Blasphemy.
on for $20.
And they need to.
Blasphemy. I need
Tony-
Krishan. Where's Krishan? We need Krishan.
Krishaw's not here. This isn't a kayfabe cartel where they're like shit happens. This is the podcast for unappreciated wrestling fans.
American made, baby. American, real Americans need to be standing up for real Americans. That's why I stand up for Hulk Hogan.
First off, let's not compare a habitual liar to a real American. A real American.
So you're saying that real Americans don't lie?
Real Americans.
Excuse me?
Americans lie, gentlemen, because look, if you want to go down that fact, real Americans lie because they give disease blankets to Native Americans. So let's talk about that. These will keep you warm and dead. Lies.
That was just biological warfare.
Oh my!
That was the early form of biological warfare.
In the anyway, we're gonna get away from this because this is what happens. This is what happens with podcasts on the Appreciate Wrestling fans. We go a little off topic. So let's go to more things right now. Something that's really nice.
At the end of the day, bro.
The only reason Hulk Hogan gets so much heat is because he's a public figure. So because when he lies, it becomes national news because it's Hulk Hogan. Other than that, if it was a normal American that said it, it'd be like, oh, somebody lied.
Now I have to go back. No, okay, I told you before in the last episode. The reason Hogan is a public figure and is noticed so damn much because every time his mouth opens, it's bullshit, or it's him defending. Or it's him taking money off a company that produces video, or I made a beer called the Real American, or
right.
Or I'm gonna rip my shirt off the promote Trump. Or,
that's right.
It's Joe. Keanu Reeves is more Real American than Hulk Hogan. For God's sakes.
Keanu Reeves kind of quiet guy.
How dare y'all? How dare y'all not mention Chuck Norris? Chuck Norris is a real American.
Chuck Norris is a myth, like freaking Santa Claus. You cannot compare a myth to a real American. Like there's so many freaking rumors of his ass. Like the famous one that I've heard so much is that a snake bit Chuck Norris, and after three gruesome days, the snake died. For God's sakes, fuck that shit. I'm not gonna compare Norris. I can compare a real American like Keanu Reeves.
Hey, what's another fact? Hey, Joe, hit him with another fact. What's another Chuck Norris fact?
Another Chuck Norris fact. He made this exercise equipment called the Total Gym, and after that, his career just disappeared. Along with his wife.
Well,
all right.
Chuck Norris counted to infinity twice.
But final thoughts on this.
Got a fist under his chin.
Mercedes
Moné. Tony Khan needs to get his money back from her.
Yes.
I'd request a refund.
Yes. And do it on a probational period. Just shut the fuck up. Do your job. Do the work. Like you were trained in NXT. And elevate the other wrestlers. If you don't do that,
I can say one thing though. About Mercedes Moné.
What?
One thing and one thing only. One good thing about her.
What?
She can still wrestle better than Jade Cargill.
I'm not contesting that because that's fucking true. Then we're gonna move on to the next subject. Chuck Norris, that's almost impossible, Onyx. And if that's true, that's a fuck. See that he's not real. That's not a real American. That's an alien. So let's not even compare an alien. Exactly. You can try to do that. If you do that shoot, Dennis, we're gonna clip that. But the point is, that's not possible. We're gonna go next to the next thing, which is gonna be controversial on my end. Lucha Brothers signed to WWE. Now, Lucha Brothers have been released by AEW, Phoenix, and Pentagon, both, and it's projected that they're going up to the main roster. Is this a hallelujah moment for the tag team division, or is this a nail in the coffin for their career?
This is a saver. This is a saver.
Okay. Why?
I'm getting my hammer and my nails out now.
Go on now. Go on. I got my counterboard for this.
Okay. So you're hiring the Lucha Brothers as a tag team. Great. They'll be tag team champions. Great. What about more? What are you going to do with them after that? You're not going to let them perform how they perform in Japan, Mexico, and AEW or
True.
TNA.
Yep.
You're not going to let them do all the shit that they do. You're going to shit on them.
People. They will
They're
murder people.
They're going to bury them and make them lose match after match after match, and then eventually they're going to get tired of it and they're going to leave.
And that sucks because any Lucha Brothers match is okay. Not great, sometimes great, but not like depending on the other character that they're with. The reason I say that they have a good product because they have Phoenix. They have fucking Phoenix.
Pentagon too.
Pentagon. I love Lucha Underground. Thank you for that. I got. Thank you, Dennis. I love Pentagon. He has I love his style. It's very like vindictive and fuck you, go after the shins. But Joe, you know for a fact, every match that Phoenix has had as a singles has been a memorable match. He made fucking Nick Jackson look good in a singles match, not once but fucking twice.
Nick Jackson's not a bad wrestler though. Now there's Matt Jackson. They're good wrestlers. They're better as a tag team, but they are good individually too.
Yeah, but not like the fact that I remember an AEW match, which was Nick Jackson versus.
Now you put Ray Phoenix against Jay Cargill, and if they have a good match, I'll believe you then.
Why do you gotta put? Come on now, Ray Phoenix would kill her. Ray Phoenix would kill her, man.
Yeah, but I want to see it because Jay Cargill's bigger than he is, and I think they would have a good match. Only because of Ray Phoenix. I don't think she'd be doing much of shit.
And you know what's like? Thank you for telling us. Thank you for telling us this, Onyx. It's true. Or we throw into a silly feud with the other Latin wrestlers. Again, just to be clear with Rey Mysterio. For what reason? Just because they're Latin.
Triple threat. Put them with the. They'll have the LWO versus the Lucha Brothers versus the Legado del Fantasma.
Why? Because they're fucking Mexican, which is fucking stupid.
Yep.
And that's a point that you shouldn't do in WWE. They weren't fighting other Mexicans in AEW. They were fighting everybody.
Let's see if they do. I want to see if they do a sombrero on a pole match.
Oh, here we go. This is why we only do this on Saturdays, ladies and gentlemen. Because Joe just must have been shotgunning beers in the last hour. Jesus Christ! But the point, he's got a
nope, just me.
I know.
They're going to Netflix. There's no more limitations no more. They can do whatever they want.
Look, and the problem with this is that they're not good talkers of English. They're not. They're not. There's been AEW for years, and it still has never been like. Wow.
They're going to Netflix. They can have a Maury Povich match where it's like who's the father on a pole match. You know, I mean, you could just climb up and get the papers.
We are literally losing followers. I am literally looking at the number down, going lower and lower by Joe's comments. I love it for him. God, I love it. All right. Anyway, I project Phoenix to do great, but again, he needs someone to talk with. He can't talk with anybody. He can do good in Chicago, New York, Florida, Detroit.
Alex, to your credit, do you feel that the Lucha Brothers are going to be like do you feel like they're going to be like a Hardy Boys or a Rockers, where one of them's going to do well and the other one's not going to do so well?
Of course, because Pentagon can become like really sadistic in his matches, but unless you understand why he does it, you won't understand it. Phoenix. So, is just
do you think that we will see either of them as a singles world champion?
No.
No. Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, damn, that's fucked up. Because I think maybe Phoenix can become the Intercontinental champion. Maybe.
That don't count. That's a mid-card title.
But that's what I mean. Like as a heavyweight. Okay. No, you're right. Look, see, even Onyx is like, nah, because you're right. Nah. Phoenix in AEW is more pliable as an AEW champion than in WWE. Because WWE has given it a standard of like you have to talk, you have to walk, you have to do this and this and this. It doesn't apply to Phoenix or Pentagon because Pentagon and Phoenix have their own type, if you understand what I mean, and They just go their own way. Phoenix can never be a world champion, world or WWE. Pentagon maybe because he's Mexican, he'll get the U.S. championship.
So
You know how they do
So-
that shit all the time.
again, what's the point?
Yeah.
What's the point?
Because they want views. They know.
But at the point to where you're at, if you know that you're not going to be a world champion, what's the point? Because everybody's end goal is to be a world champion. And if it's not your end goal, then you have your fucking priorities wrong.
But again, for Penta and Phoenix, they signed the contract because they got a shitload of money. They have to realize they're not going to be the greatest like singles player. So if they like if Phoenix knows and Penta knows like we're not going to be the best like singles, or we can try and they'll probably bury us. Excuse me. That we have to be the best tag team ever. We got to rank up the numbers of defenses and reigns while our tag. But that's the problem. You're gonna rise and bury yourself to get as many numbers as you can before you leave.
You're going to bury yourself as a tag. You're going to bury yourself and mark yourself as a tag team.
Mm-hmm.
Which sucks because the tag team division in WWE in the main roster sucks right now. That might give a revival when they come in. Like holy shit, Penta and Phoenix are a whole different type of breed of
Don't forget, you have the Motor City Machine Guns coming in as well.
Yeah.
Then, come on, Joe. I know you love the Motor City Machine Guns. Shout out to
Yeah, but if you put them versus the Lucha Brothers, that would be amazing.
if you put them against the Motor City, like okay, I have not seen them together, but I've seen Penta and Phoenix fight almost every type of tag team there is because of AEW has that variety of like high flyer grounders, European, Japan, you know. So I don't look. See right here. Even Joe saying it. Not Joe. Onyx. Main roster tag team division is ass because it is. It is like that's why I would rather them go to NXT.
That's why WWE is hiring outside tag teams to build the tag team division up. That's why they're getting the Lucha Brothers. That's why they're getting the Motor City Machine Guns. They know their tag team division is shit and they need work. And to do that, you get these lifelong people that have been tag teams.
Yeah. No, it will work, but that means they gotta have at least 4 good tag teams in the roster what they have now to back up 2 that are coming in. And they don't even have 4 that are good. They got 2, maybe, and every 2 months they break up and betray each other. Penta and Phoenix, when they betray each other, it's just a fucking blood feud that you're gonna see for 6 months, and then they're gonna go back together. They've been doing that shit for years. They know how to do that. And if they become a tag team, I'm just gonna wait for them to betray each other, then become a singles match with each other. That's more believable and better to watch than Wade Barrett and Drew McIntyre. Sorry. And I've seen like 6 different versions of Penta versus Phoenix in 6 different places. And each time they've killed each other. Like blood, guts.
Onyx said, you see what Onyx said? The Usos need to get back together. The Usos and the Lucha Brothers. That'd be a good match.
So
What y'all think?
from the sources I've been reading, Jey Uso is not expected to be going to SmackDown, and he's being portrayed like promoted for Raw all the way for the rest of this year. So I don't know if we're going to see the Bloodline, OG Bloodline versus the new Bloodline. So I don't think the Usos are getting back together anytime soon.
And I respect that, Onyx. I've seen 6 different versions of Penta versus Phoenix. I get why you don't want to see it again because it's just like so many.
What about the New Day?
No, I mean, okay. Let's talk about this. Let's hold up, Joe. New Day versus Penta versus Phoenix. Sorry, New Day versus Lucha Brothers. Who's winning?
Lucha Brothers, probably.
Thank you, Dennis.
But would it be a good match? That's what I'm asking.
Lucha.
No. We're not there yet. Lucha Brothers versus New Day. Dennis, who wins?
Lucha.
Okay. Now let's go back to the question. Will it be a good match? Yes, because Kofi likes to show out. And you know what's sad? Kofi's like, I'm a high flyer. I can do this shit. Penta's like, hold my motherfucking tequila, bitch. I'll be right back. because you are nowhere near the level of Phoenix, Kofi.
No.
Not even close. Okay? That's why it might be a great match. Kofi's trying to do some high flyer shit, and Phoenix just outflies him. Freaking Xavier tried to do some wrestling shit. Penta just goes after his shins.
Xavier is not shown enough.
No.
I feel like Xavier Woods is being dumbed down a lot. He does a lot of good stuff. When he was Consequences Creed in TNA, he was really good.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's gotten bigger. Like I told D-Walk the other day, he looks like he's been on the regiment or something because he's gotten big.
No Diddy. No Diddy. You have to say no Diddy after that, bro.
He looked like when Rey Mysterio came in WWE after being hurt.
Yeah.
And then he came back, he looked like he was huge.
No Diddy.
But you're right. Like I think that because they're still going with the whole Xavier Kofi, which obviously Kofi's going to turn before Xavier. It's just going to go down that route. That's just the way it is. That's fine. Thank you, I'll explain. No Diddy. But I think with the Lucha Brothers, they can go after Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. They can go after the New Day, the Good Brothers. They can go after the Bloodline. But they would probably go after the Bloodline when they have the LWO. But at that point, if you bring the LWO, Ray and Phoenix have to like manage it. Sorry, guys. Whoever the leader is of the LWO, you're fucked. Once they come in, like Latino World Order,
it's Ray.
It's Ray. It's Ray. Latino World Order is Ray Phoenix 100%. So whenever he comes in, I'm the boss now. Bobby, that's it. I live in the shittiest part of Mexico where we wrestle on lights to get change.
And you know, y'all keep talking Diddy. You know, there's a fun fact. Did you know that they when the FBI took over his houses and stuff, you know, they found 792 dildos
and 100+ bottles of
1,000.
Yeah,
1,000.
1,000 bottles of baby oil.
There you go.
And 792 dildos.
We'll talk about that next week.
Hey, other facts though. Hey, we could Hollywood gonna need actors after everybody go to jail, so we could be Avenger in the movies though. We could be actors now. And in the NBA.
Let's do it. We could do both.
I
seen it on Indeed though. They got Hollywood got offers in the NBA.
Oh, you seen those dragon dildos? I've seen those dragon dildos, ladies and gentlemen. It's on X. These women are just.
Did you see the egg implant ones?
Yeah, like the weird ass, like, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna say this real quick, respectfully. Vaginas and dildos are a weird combination, but we're gonna continue on to final thoughts on this. How long will Lucha Brothers be in WWE, Mr. Dennis, before they leave? Because they're gonna leave. They're not gonna stay there forever. Just gonna get their stock and they're leaving.
6 months.
Damn. All right, Joe.
How long do I think before they're gone? Before they're not relevant or gone?
No, they're gone. Just gone. Like they got released.
I think they're gonna go their full contract.
Okay. Mr. Alex Blade says 3 years. So
that's what I'm thinking. I think that's their contract is 3 years. So that's probably about right. He's probably right.
Yeah, I think that they're gonna hold out their contract, do as much as they can, get their stock, and then either go back to Mexico, which now they're going to be called former WWE wrestlers, which are going to raise their stock up, or go to Japan, back to AAA.
I'm going to say AAA in Japan, and then back to AEW.
Yeah, like a one year run. That's fine. 3 years is fine. Ladies and gentlemen, this was the podcast for Underappreciated Wrestling fans. We done all 4 topics. We're good. Next week, we're gonna do a nice little. This is gonna be really weird, and we're gonna get fucking so much comments in different Facebook groups. We're gonna do a should they be in the Hall of Fame episode.
Ooh.
We're gonna talk about Benoit. We're gonna talk about China. We're gonna talk about the knockoff China that was in WCW, which is Asia, ASYA. Actually, didn't know that. So
you're talking about Asia.
Yeah.
And she was only like 5'3", wasn't she?
No, she was big.
She was.
She was
No,
fucking
no,
with
he's talking about AJ. AJ was short and real big.
Yeah. So we're gonna
Miss
Joe
Elizabeth.
yeah, go on. And Elizabeth, we're gonna have a list and we're gonna talk about each person and should they deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Even the ones like Benoit, even the ones like Elizabeth, even the ones like Joe's favorite hand friend, Mr. Lex Luger, because he's fighting for Lex Luger, ladies and gentlemen. Joe is adamant that Lex Luger should be in the Hall of Fame. He should be shaking hands with Trump and just like cutting.
That man was dragged through the fucking mud for over a decade. They've been investigating that man for over a decade for the death of Miss Elizabeth when she took his pills that was in his bathroom, overdosed on his prescription medication, and killed herself. And he called the police and tried to revive her and did CPR and everything he could. And they still he was on the phone with 911 when he was doing it. They were giving him instructions.
Ain't nobody worse than Jimmy Snuka.
And he's still in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Never took him out. Murderer.
But I will say this. When next week happens and we will talk about these things. We will want your comments. We will want your feedback. We will want your likes. We will want your shares. I want to say this first. Holy shit, Dennis. 27 subscribers? Motherfucker, let's go. All right, smile that shit up, man. There you go. Be proud. When you get to 52, you can do lives just walking around town doing that shit. When you get to 100, 500, 1,000, let's fucking go. All right?
Yeah, appreciate it.
I was like, oh, shit. All right? Whichever one's watching, subscribe to the channel. Have fun. Enjoy. Joe BNCO, he's at 47. Get him to 50. Onyx,
3 more.
Share the channel. So please share this episode to have some fun here because I know I love this, guys. I want to say thank you for everyone that's watching. I want to thank the Kayfabe Cartel, BX Sports Jedi Network. I want to thanks Wonderland and everyone else, my beautiful girlfriend and my second girlfriend, Kiara. I'm for right now drinking 4 Locos. I want to thank my son for being alive and being smart and humble and ethical and moral. And I want to thank the PWF because we not only talk about wrestling, because of Joe, we talk about everything else, because Joe loves to talk about everything else. And I respect that. That's the point of this show, to talk about everything else. As long as we don't get flagged for like assault and other things and vulgar language, which we've talked with Joe about that many a time. We should be fine. We should be okay. So, but if anything happens, it's Joe's fault, not mine.
Why you got to say it's my fault?
Yeah,
it's your fault.
It's D-Walk's fault.
Don't give me this innocent.
It's D-Walk's fault. It's D-Walk's fault.
Nope. D-Walk has been a outstanding citizen on his own fucking show.
His mama said otherwise. His mama said otherwise.
I've been a saint. I've been drinking my milk. I've been saying my prayers, and I've been going to church.
He's been following the Hulk Hogan regimen. See,
I will say this though.
Even the lying part. See.
No, but D-Walk has been outstanding on this show. He's been coherent in everything. The only downside, he knows this, is that he gets drunk real damn fast. And I respect that. It's like me. But Joe, there is a historical fact and data-proven history of your ass getting us in trouble. Over years. Okay, I love you.
What have I done? I just talk about truth.
Okay, there's truth and there's some things that like even more poets are gonna bleep that shit out in history. All right. You know damn well. But with that being said, I love Mr. Joe BNCO because we came from one place that he's doing his own thing, but I don't care what the hell he does because that's not our problem anymore. This is a podcast for unappreciated wrestling fans where we have fun. Please like, share, comment, enjoy. All the links are down below. As you can see here, reset and replay and enjoy all the madness. Leave a comment at the end of the show. Onyx Blade, thank you for passing by. A wonderful, sexy-ass man all the way in the United States. Detroit for D-Walk and West Virginia for Joe BNCO.
Flint.
Yeah. Flint, Michigan. Sorry. Detroit, Michigan. Sorry, Flint, Michigan.
Yep.
Say
Poison Water State.
Oh
First of
man,
all,
come on, here you go.
I didn't say that. Stay healthy.
The fact.
That is a fact. They got good sandwiches though where he is. I'll give him that. Get no problem
Not,
for play.
not better than Brooklyn.
I'm not saying that. I'm gonna say Flint, Michigan has the best sandwiches there. Go at me. Ladies and gentlemen, stay healthy, stay happy, and remember, the podcast for Appreciate Wrestling Fans is about having fun, enjoying things, not getting canceled because of Joe's remarks, and NXT Time with D-Walk on Wednesdays at 9:30. Hashtag NXT Time with D-Walk all together. No big caps, nothing like that. No cap, no underscores. We end it with this.